Alright, so I'm going to be going over how I finished my helmet. So I'm starting off with a 3D printed helmet right here. I already hit it with some Bondo and lots of primer and it broke a few times. So this is it, just after I sanded it quite a bit and put it back together. So I'm about to hit it with some more paint. Alright, so yeah, just going to use some Rust-Oleum here, and I'm going to go really light with the coats here. I don't want to get any runs on it, so I'm just going to lightly spray over it. And I do skip over some of the coats here. I ended up doing about 3 coats in total of this. So just showing real quick, giving a light spray, and I come back and do this several more times after. Alright, so here it is after just a few coats here. So what I'm going to do is, from this point I noticed there's quite a few spots that I could sand. And I wanted to make sure that once it actually got its final coats, it was going to look nice. So I'm going to take it for just a little bit of sanding real quick before I give it its final coat. Alright, now it's the part of doing helmets that's really not glorious at all. It's a lot of this, a lot of this, a lot of this, a lot more of that. And then finally take it with just a dry rag to really brush off some of the debris. And then right here, I didn't realize I got it on video, but yeah, getting in its final coats after I sanded. Here it is, yeah, getting those last a little bit. And then here it is right after that final coat, just the end. It's looking really nice. So after it dried, it gives it a nice matte finish. It's looking really nice here, and now we're ready to start painting, so we're going to start taping. And since this is based on a Battlefront 2 character, gotta start with the source material. Starting up Battlefront 2. And here is the source material here. He looks a lot more blue looking at the screen from my phone, but from looking at the color, how it came out of the can and how it dried, it actually looks very accurate to how it is in game. Like I said, recording from the phone off the screen, it looks a lot more blue than it actually does looking at the screen. So I was happy with the selection of the blue. So yeah, now I'm just going to start looking around to really get the details taped off here. Alright, so I went over the helmet with some tape. Now I was going to do a method where I basically layer on all of the tape and then I cut out the shape that I wanted. I thought that was going to be the best way. Turns out it wasn't, so yeah, here I am just using the tape to get the straight lines that I need. And then from there, just kind of adjusting things, getting it the way I want them. Alright, so got the front taped off. You got that angle going for kind of the shape of these lines. They don't come like straight to the front. They kind of slant them off at an angle, so it's almost like there's a triangle paint that they kind of taped off before making those lines. Same thing in the back. They did that, so got that triangle. Now I'm getting the other side taped off. Alright, and I went with a trick here. I did a layer of tape all around the side, and you'll see why. I kind of make a skirt for painting, and it's really nice. Alright, so yeah, like I said, I kind of made a skirt with that tape, and it's so I can do this. Instead of wasting a bunch of tape and covering everything with tape, I ended up using a bag and just sealing those edges so I can paint the top. Alright, just speeding through, you know the deal, just painting off the blue, and that's what it looks like. Alright, now I'm just going to give you the satisfaction pulling these off. This is definitely the best part of finishing the helmet and painting it, is peeling off this tape. It is spectacular. Ooh, yeah. Another one for you. Nice. Not as clean as I like it, but I'm going to be weathering it, so it's fine. Alright, other side here. Peeling that off. There we go. Another peel. Super clean. I like that one a lot. And here we go. Nice. Alright, this one's really satisfying too. Taking off the triangle. Look at the angle on those lines. I am super happy with the way those turned out. Same deal in the back right here, just peeling off the angle on that. It turned out really nice. I'm really happy with the way the back turned out. Alright, so here's the way that the tape turned out in the end, or the paint. So yeah, it got on the bottom, that's fine. I'm going to be painting that. And I didn't tape off the little underside of the helmet right there, just because I'm going to be painting over that anyway, for a darker color, so I wasn't too worried about it. So I'm really happy with this. Alright, so right here, I just went ahead and started painting this. I didn't want to go through all the taping again, you know the drill. So just peeling this off for you guys. Nice clean peel. This is the paint that I happen to have. It's not going to be my permanent paint. I'm going to swap it out. You can see brush strokes in it. Not super happy with that, but from a distance, it looks good enough for me. It's the color that I wanted. It's a little bit too bright right now, but once I weather it, it's going to get darker. And yeah, like I said, it's the paint that I had around, so this is what it's going to be for a while until I get the more permanent paint on. This is washable paint, so it'll come off at some point. And yeah, same thing on the bottom here. So this red, it's washable paint. And then peeling it off. From a distance though, I love the way it looks, and it turned out really nice. Here it is after taking off all the tape. It's got all of its major colors on it, the red and the blue, and I'm really happy with this. So looking back, I could have done this the same way as the other ones. I could have just used the trash bag to cover it. I ended up using tape for the whole thing. Kind of wish I went back on that. Either way, here I am taking off the paint. I mean, really the only thing that needed the black paint here was the rim that goes around the helmet, and then the inside of the teeth has this black. And yeah, I ended up just covering the whole thing in tape. Like I said, I kind of wish I would have just used the trash bag and sealed it off like I did the rest. Not sure why I didn't do that. I'm just gonna zoom through this. I'm just taking tape off, nothing special. But yeah, there was a lot of tape to take off. Man, I forgot about the black around the earpieces. So I mean, there's a few places it would have been a little bit annoying to do the trash bags, but still probably would have worked. Alright, so now it's time to tape off again. I should have done this with the rest of the top of the helmet because it's the same blue. But anyway, I'm going to use the trash bag method, taping around, and then I'm going to just drape the trash bag and seal it off around here so I can fill in these cheeks. Alright, now the part that we all wanted, taking off the trash bag to reveal the cheeks here. So it's really not that, it was actually really easy to take off, and it made it easy to get the other side too, because the trash bag was already kind of taped in the right way for the other side. So I just kind of draped it over, and yeah, it made it easy to tape off the other side. Let me just get to having the tape off. Maybe, I'll just keep it here. You can see it coming off. Yeah, you can see how easily that trash bag just came off. That was really nice, really clean here. Yeah. Yep, this is what it looks like on that side. Turned out really nice. Alright, same deal. Like I said, I was able to just kind of drape this over, and it was already in kind of the right shape from the other cheek. So I already painted it. Taking it off is really easy. It's just to do that. Now I'm just taking off the seal that I taped around the cheek, and yeah, pulling it off for you guys. The lines turned out really clean. Really happy with the way those turned out. The cheeks turned out really well. And there it is. Alright, gonna go really fast through this part. I went through a few different methods of trying to get these lines down, and they're actually really tough. So what I ended up doing is just sticking the tape down, cutting them, and this ended up turning out really nice for later because I realized my little tape strips are already cut, and I could just carry them over to the other side so I didn't have to cut them again. That actually, you can see right here, I ended up just snipping them. That went a whole lot faster than me trying to do that. So yeah, instead of laying the tape down and then cutting it, I just kind of guessed on the sizes, and this side actually turned out better than the other side. So I'm really happy with the way this turned out. Just laying them on there and then putting the seal around so I can trash bag them. Yep, tape down the trash bag, seal that up, and get these lines ready for painting. This is going to be one of the most satisfying tape removals right here, and seeing just these crisp lines. super happy with the way these turned out. I'm going to show you real here. Yeah, look at that. And then this side, I don't know why I didn't just trash bag all of it at the same time and paint all of it, but I did one side at a time. This is kind of the same thing with the other side, with the cheeks. The bag was already in the right shape, and so it actually made it easy to carry it over and get this side ready for painting. Alright, here's another peel for you guys on these lines. These lines turned out really nice. There we go. Alright, so right here what I'm doing is I am doing the weathering process. So it kind of irritated me how I went with a gloss paint on the brim here, and then the rest of it was matte. I mean, it wasn't the end of the world, but I also wanted some weathering just to kind of cover up some of the imperfections here, and really happy with the way the weathering turned out. So I just started out with a really coarse sandpaper, just adding in some irregular scratches, nothing super patterned here. I just wanted to get all of the corners that needed sanding. So basically any corner on the helmet or any edge, it's going to be wearing out faster. So the kind of flatter parts, those I didn't worry about too much. I just wanted to make it seem like the paint was chipping off the corners here. And yeah, so just starting out with the sandpaper, this was really the big part, adding some scratches. Alright, and then this is actually a really big part what I was doing. So I ended up making up a few different mixtures here. I knew that I was supposed to mix some paint with some water to provide some that kind of grime to kind of a wash over the helmet to make it look a little bit dirtier and worn. So the only paint that I had on hand was spray paint. So I thought it might not work, and turns out it didn't. So putting spray paint with water, it basically just dries on the surface and doesn't let you actually do it. But it did end up doing an interesting effect where I could end up getting these little balls of paint, and if it got on the helmet, I tried taking it off, but it just kind of smeared, and it actually gave me these really nice oily, grimy looking smears kind of randomly placed around the helmet. So I went with it, and this is how it turned out. Actually really happy with that. Alright, and then this part's really fast, just cutting out some foam that I can insert on the inside of the helmet just to help it stay in place and stay a little bit not on my shoulders. It's a little bit more comfortable this way too. So yeah, just cut up some strips, put it around the inside where it felt right, and yeah, this turned out really nice. So here it is trying out. You can see it sits a little bit higher, not on my shoulders anymore. Alright, so I realized going around that I didn't have some of these kind of deeper corners weathered. There wasn't any grime. It was more on the outer surfaces, which still looked nice, but I wanted a little bit more. And this one I actually found on accident. So I was trying to paint the gray parts of the helmet, and this paint was very, very watery. And it ended up coming out really, really light. And I realized it was actually really nice, just lightness, texture, watery, just for some of these corner pieces. So you can see I'm painting the gray parts of the helmet as well, but I also went around some of these deeper grooves and added a light coat of this paint because it really added some detail on some of this grimy look. And it ended up looking really nice, turning out really nice. Really happy with the way that turned out. Alright, so now what I'm going to do, I went ahead and I cut the visor out. You don't need to see that. I went and traced out the visor shape on the helmet, and then I just traced it onto the visor itself. So now I'm hot gluing it. I'm applying this very liberally to the edges here to make sure I get as good of a hold as I can. I'm not using any kind of special glue, just hot glue. And I'm hoping that'll stay in place for as long as I need it to. Eventually I'm going to come back and add a stronger glue, and yeah, so I'm just going around the edges, getting very, very large globs, and then waiting for it to dry. And then here we go. I'm gonna try it on. Here is the final helmet. Thanks for sticking around, guys. Follow for more. Psych, need to do a photo shoot.